welcome back to my channel. My name is Liv, and we're going to talk about some books. Today we are going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I am so excited. I love watching these videos, so I'm so excited to be filming my first one. When I first started this channel a few months ago, I didn't think I was going to have this many books to talk about, but my reading has really taken off since I started this channel, so I can't wait to hop into these with you guys. So today, obviously, if you don't know what the mid-year book freakout tag is, we're halfway through the year and we're going to be talking about the best. We're going to be talking about the most disappointing. We're going to be talking about the most beautiful. We're going to be talking about what we can't wait to read and what we've already read, and I can't wait to hop into it. So grab a drink, settle in, set your ambiance. I've got some nice little pool at sunset up here. I've got some candles going, and I've got some peach lemonade. But we are just gonna hop right in because, like I said, I love to gab, and gab we shall. Alright, I've got the questions pulled up on my phone. This tag has been going around YouTube for years, so I watched quite a few to make sure that I have all of the right questions. But let's just hop in to number one, and that's your favorite book so far in 2021. And just right off the bat, we mucked it up. 2021? That ain't even close. I have been screaming this from the rooftops for the last few months on my channel, so we won't talk about it too much, but My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. Y'all, I cannot. I am so obsessed. I love this man. I love this book. I love this entire trilogy because I've read them all now, but this is definitely my top book of the year so far. My biggest thing for this video is I know this is not for me to tell you what these books are about and then tell you why, because it's going to be too long. So I'm going to do my best to make sure it's not that long. But this book is just pure 80s horror nostalgia. It is so good. I will say I've seen a lot of people who they didn't enjoy this because it was too slow, and this one does start really slow. But if that is your only complaint about this book and you don't have an overwhelmingly large TBR that you feel you're never going to get control of, read Don't Fear the Reaper, because in this we're just following our main character Jade. In this one we are hopping from perspective to perspective to perspective, and the slashing starts off in the first chapter. So if that was your only qualm with My Heart is a Chainsaw, just give it a try. Do it. Just do it for me, okay? Do it for me. We're gonna leave these nearby because we're gonna talk about them a few more times in this video. Question number 2 is the best sequel you've read so far this year, and I just finished reading these guys, and easily we could pick more from the Indian Lake trilogy, but it's Heartstopper volumes 4 and 5. Oh my god. I think everyone is obsessed with this series. I don't think you can read this series and not be obsessed with it. And if you're not a graphic novel person, I don't think you can watch the Netflix show and not be obsessed with it. I gave both of these 5 stars, but I do think 4 I enjoy just a little bit more because this one we are following there's a lot of talk about mental health and dealing with mental health and dealing with it as a teenager, and it was done so well because I'm an adult, we're adults here, and so I am very capable of recognizing my bad mental health days and knowing what I'm going through and knowing what's triggering me. And trust me, there are some times the whole first quarter of this year where I still can't pull myself out of the mental health spiral, but I do understand what it's there, that it's there and what's happening. And then but when you're a teenager and you're feeling all these big emotions for the first time, it feels like it's the end of the fucking world. And just Alice Osman, she does such a good job with that. But then number 5, this one's just so cute. Nothing makes me kick my little freaking feet more than these books, but this one, it was 1:30 in the morning and I was talking to my dog about how cute this is. I wish that was a lie. There might actually be a Snapchat to prove it, but I was just talking to the dog, gabbing away about how freaking cute it is because we're finally we're out of the mental health. aspect a bit. It's obviously not gone and we're still talking about it, but like our characters have it much more under control and we're just kind of following our characters as, yeah, they're in this relationship and they're in love, but they're also figuring out who they are outside of the relationship. And it's so cute. So this is definitely favorite sequel for the year. Question number 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet, but you want to. I pulled 2 for this. I just picked them up yesterday because June had just so many great releases. But the first one is obviously The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. Like, I cannot wait to read this. When I tell you, I have just like simply spent the whole first half of the year waiting for this book to come out. I wish it was an over-exaggeration, but I have been so thrilled. He's on the move. This book, we are following our main character, and I believe she is in high school. I know she's definitely a teenager, but her mom and her father split up, and her mom is dating this new man. He is a white man. She and her mother are Korean American, and he just kind of leers at Asian women a little too much for comfort, you know? And then suddenly our main character kind of starts obsessing about his eyes and what it would be like to eat them. And it's just gonna turn violent. And like the way I tell you, I can't wait to see this girl murder this man. But I cannot wait to see this man die. I really can't. And the other book I pulled for this is Little Rot by Akwaeke Emezi, which also just came out in June. I love Akwaeke Emezi. I will read anything they write. Anything. I'll do it. Anything. It could be the weirdest concept and I'd be like, yeah, yes, please sign me up. This one, don't know a ton about because that's how I like to go into my books. But I know we are following 6 characters as their lives change and a sex party goes wrong in the underbelly of Nigeria. That's really all I know, and that's all I'm gonna care to find out before I go into this one. She's trying to harass the cat. Lay down. Oh god, now the other one's coming. Everybody lay down. I got books here. Hey, I'm working here. Go lay down. Okay, question number 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So obviously, the most obvious is coming out in July is Stephen Graham Jones' I Was a Teenage Slasher. This one I am so excited for just because of the fact that I know he wrote it before he published or wrote the ending of the Indian Lake trilogy because like he just needed to get that story out of him before he finished Jade's story. So I can't wait to read that one. But I also love the idea of like we're following the slasher and we're gonna be on their side. I love that concept. Also, speaking of Stephen Graham Jones releases in the latter half of this year, in October, 4 of his out-of-print older works are going to be republished. There's going to be 2 short story collections and 2 either novel novellas. So the 2 short story collections are called 3 Miles Past and After the People Lights Have Gone Off. Those are just the 2 short story collections. And then the 2 novels are The Long Trial of Nolan Dugatti and Zombie Bake Off. I read the synopsis of all of those the other night at like midnight. I can't really fully tell you what all of them are at this moment, but I'm going to pre-order them just solely for the fact that hopefully, if this does well, they'll keep re-releasing some of his no longer in print works because I have been for months scouring for a short story collection called Robot Sharks with Metal Teeth. And the thing is I know, at this point, I now know, just from looking at reviews, that the titular story of that short story collection, there are no stories, there's nothing about sharks in it. But it doesn't matter, because the cover is just great, and these new ones that are coming out do have new covers, but, like, I can't find this book anywhere. And even, like, the out-of-stock used ones are, like, $130, so I'm just kind of hoping if this goes well, they'll release more next year, and maybe eventually I will be able to get my hands on that short story collection. And then also coming out this same day as I Was a Teenage Slasher is a really quick, also coming out the same day as I Was a Teenage Slasher is a anthology collection called The White Guy Dies First, 13 Scary Stories of Fear and Power. I really want to read that. And then I think in September, Johnny Compton has a new book coming out called Devils Kill Devils. This is the author who last year published The Spite House. That was his debut novel. I think I gave that a 3 or a 3.5. but there were a lot of times where I was like, wow, I can't believe that this was like a debut. So I'm really interested in picking up more of his work. Okay, chugging right along. Question number 5 is your biggest disappointment of the year. So first, easy peasy, I don't have any of these books on me, is whatever the newest Crescent City book by Sarah J. Maas was. Do we even need to talk about it? Like, it was just disappointing. Second is going to be The Night House by Joe Nesbo, which I have been talking about my disdain for this book in the last few videos I've done, but I just don't think it was that well written. There were 3 parts. The first part was like a majority of the book and could have just been the book by itself, but I think Joe Nesbo just he had so many ideas of what he wanted this book to be, and instead of picking one and doing it well, he did them all and didn't do it well. And then also, this is going to be the most controversial, and this was a 3-star. I was just expecting so much more. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I just wanted that book to destroy me, and I didn't even cry. So, maybe it's because I knew how the story was going to end, but didn't hit me the way I wanted it to, so that was a bummer. Question number 6 is your biggest surprise. I pulled off 2 for this one. The first was You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Byron. This is obviously a great concept. We are at a horror camp where there's actors and you are basically pretending you are in Friday the 13th pretty much. This was just a surprise for me because since 2020 I really haven't read a ton of YA, and when I did, I haven't loved it. And the fact that I devoured this and really enjoyed it, that was a really great and welcome surprise for me. The second I pulled for this was Bright Young Women, just because it had to do with Ted Bundy and true crime. I didn't think I was going to be that into it. That being said, this is all about the women, and if there's anything you should know, is I love women. And we don't even mention Ted Bundy's name once, except in the acknowledgments when she is thanking one of the women who went through the actual experience she's writing about, who actually took the time to talk with her about it so she could make this book as accurate as she could, but also just for the women as she could. So this... If the angle is a little different, I apologize. I feel like you're a little far away, guys. But pretty much as soon as the camera overheated, my neighbor came walking up the path and I pretty much just grabbed the tripod and sprinted away because so far only 2 of my closest friends know about this. So maybe one day I'll just awkwardly make eye contact with a camera right in front of me, but not today. I don't fully remember where I was with this, but I was not expecting to like this, let alone love it, but I gave it 5 stars and I want to reread it and I want to annotate it. This next one is newest favorite author. So obviously we've got Stephen Graham Jones because I am now obsessed with this man and I hope he's having a wonderful day. I hope he's doing great. But also I'm going to throw in Julia Armfield because I just last month read Our Wives Under the Sea, and this was incredible, and it was one of the most beautifully written books that I think I've read this year, so I really want to dive some more into her stuff. But both of these authors I had not read prior to this year. Newest fictional crush. We're back, baby. Jade or Letha, really take your pick. And then also, I'll say Anna from Sisters of the Lost Nation because I loved them in this. And then, honestly, I'm bisexual as fuck, but I couldn't name a single man. I don't have one for you. Sorry. And then question number 9 is newest favorite character. And this is just we're going back to the same question. It is Jade or it's Anna. I loved both of them so much, but I really enjoyed being in Jade's head in these 2 books. These were really good. I love her. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. For this, I chose The Seep by Chana Porter. This book, we're following a woman named Trina and her wife Deba, and we are existing in this world where this alien species came to Earth, but not in the way that we expect alien species to. It's in the water. Pretty much you can do anything with the Seep. You can have a tumor removed and then immediately go play yoga. You can change your... play yoga. Do yoga. You can change your entire facial structure. You can be... no one dies anymore, so you just kind of reincarnate as whatever you choose. And in this book, Trina's wife decides that she wants to be reincarnated as a baby and retry childhood because she didn't have a good one. And she leaves Trina behind, and Trina is just devastated, and we are following her grief in this book. And for a while, there was a part of the book where it was a little slow, and I was like, I don't really know how much I'm enjoying this. And then like 3 pages later, when I say like hot tears were streaming down my face without me even noticing, it wasn't just like a few you had to like they were rolling down the cheeks, and I really didn't expect it. And then obviously some books that I've talked about before, but both of these made me cry. I'm not too sure I cried in this one, but these two both had scenes that really made me cry, and I also cried reading the acknowledgements of these. There is a chapter in this one, I followed along with the audiobooks. There's a chapter that Stephen King reads, and it fucking destroyed me. It is Stephen King's only chapter in this, and I was on the couch, and my roommate was back at the desk, and I literally just, like, folded over on the couch so she wouldn't see me sobbing, because I was so close to finishing the book, so I couldn't stop. And then there's another book I remember that really made me cry, but this one, I think it was more, it was almost that time of the month for me, because it was one of my most disappointing books of the year, the newest Crescent City book, and I really hated the ending, but there was a part of the ending where, like, for some reason, I could just not, like, I couldn't seem to stop crying no matter what I did. I still didn't like it, though, okay? I didn't like the book. And then question 11 is a book that made you happy, and so obviously I have to bring back Heartstopper, because, like, nothing makes me happier than watching these two little dudes figure out life together. Ugh, there is a conversation that Nick has with his mom in this one, and oh my god, I can't even talk about them. They bring me so much joy. So much joy. I think there's a novella, like not even a graphic novel, following Nick and Charlie that takes place after this volume 5. So I think I'm gonna have to pick that up because I don't want to wait for the 6th volume. It's the final volume. But at least when the 6th one comes out, I'll get to reread all 5 of them. Something to look forward to. And then question 12. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm so disappointed in myself. It's your favorite book to movie adaptation. I don't think I've seen a single one this year. Here's the thing. I love movies. I love going to the movies. I have not been watching that many this year. And since we moved to Rhode Island last fall, I think I've gone to the movies like once. So I'm highly, highly disappointed in myself. But I don't think there's a book to movie adaptation that I've watched this year. I read The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay, but I haven't gone and watched Knock on the Cabin. I watched the trailer, and it seems quite a bit different from, well, not really quite a bit different, but there's like one freaking thing where I'm like, that doesn't happen. I haven't watched one, so I would like you guys to tell me what your favorite books and movie adaptations were this year, so I can steal them and watch them and read them and maybe find my own. Okay, and then question number 13 is the most beautiful book you've bought this year or received. I chose 2. I chose Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson because I just love this cover with the woman and the dead flowers. Like, I'm kind of obsessed. I kind of love it. And then what did we talk about earlier where, like, this is obviously not beautiful, but with the eyeball on the chopsticks, like, I am obsessed with this cover. And then The Cemetery of Untold Stories by Julia Alvarez. I haven't read this yet, but I do think it has just, like, a beautiful, stunning cover. Hopefully I'm gonna read this soon. It's looking like I need to do a 2024 releases vlog because they just be piling up, baby. Final question number 14. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? And for this, I just grabbed a little stack of books that I put on my 24 books of 24 that I need to read before the end of this year. So I have Monstrilio. I have put this on several TBRs this year, and I have not read it, and I now own 2 copies because I've always really wanted the hardcover, and I could never find it, so I finally bought the paperback, and then I signed into Pango one day, and it was on the For You, just right in the front, which I had searched Pango before, and it wasn't there, so it's the only time in my life I've ever used a buy now button. Tastemakers by, I have absolutely no idea. Mayuk Sen. That is probably so wrong. But this is Tastemakers, 7 Immigrant Women Who Revolutionized Food in America. I work in food and beverage, and I just am really intrigued in getting to this nonfiction. Next, I have Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. This is one of those books where it seems like my kind of weird fiction, where every year this woman wakes up in a different year of her life and she is living her life out of order, and I really want to read this one. Obviously, I really want to read all of these. They're on my 24 books in 2024. The last one is Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano, and most of it's for the cover, but then also I think like this whole world, they're just like stuck in 1994. Like every year is 1994, and I think that someone went missing and someone new arrives to this island. And obviously it's not 1994. So I'm really, really intrigued to read this one as well. That is it for my mid-year book freakout tag. If you are a smaller booktuber like me and you film this, please leave it down below in the comments so I can watch it, because I love these videos and I want to see you gab about all your favorite books and all your least favorite books. My camera is about to overheat again, so thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video.